Look at this beautiful truck here. It's not complicated, it's really simple. Just an engine, transmission, frame, tires, brakes, and then just restore the body. Try to get it as straight as possible. It's not that difficult to get one of those. It just takes a lot to take care of them over the years. All these people down here in Charleston salmon fishing. Here, I'll take you up here to the crab plant, or the fish plant. It's like in Newport, except way smaller. It's a much smaller harbor down here. Then you got Newport. There's not a lot of. Then they got Winchester Bay. And then you go up to Astoria. That thing is like a shipping magnet up there. Huge. During crabbing season, this place really goes big here. This is where, and you got a lot of people work here, 40 hours a week for years. It's excruciatingly hard work. Every year they have a job, depending on what crabbing season's doing. They hire for like 6 to 8 weeks, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 weeks straight. And you have to agree to that before you take the job. But a lot of people do it. That's how they make their seasonal money in 6 weeks. I mean, you can make $1,000 a week for 6 weeks. And that, around here, that gets some people through the entire season. I'm sorry, through the entire year. In today's society, with all the problems, most people only need about an extra $5,000 a year. Now, there's 2 ways to do that. I do it the easy way. Cut back your expenses $5,000 a year, and you will have paid yourself an extra $5,000 a year by not spending the money. And a lot of people say, no, can't do it, no, can't do it, nope, can't do it. They don't believe they could ever cut back 1 penny. In fact, they believe they have to spend more. So the second way is they have to go out and make $5,000 a year more. Either get a better job or get a second job. Or get a side hustle, they call it today. Which I think is comical myself. I think the word side hustle is dumb. They say, you need to get a couple side hustles. We called them jobs when I was younger. It was called a second job because side hustle sounds so profoundly easy. Well, I got a side hustle. I just make a couple videos a week and YouTube sends me $10,000 a month. No, that's a lie. A side hustle is a J-O-B, job. But it's easier just to say, okay, I'm going to sell my house and live in an apartment, and then I will save $800 a month. And I can spend more time serving God and helping my family, and I'll have $800 more than I have now, and I don't even have to get a second job to get it. Or let's say you're a truck driver and your job's paying you $800 a week, which is pretty low today, but let's just say you get $800-900 a week, and there's a truck driving job across town that's actually easier, that pays $1,200 to $1,400 a week. But you've just never done the work to go over there and get that other job. Well, I want to be loyal to the job I have because I've been here 5 years. So you want to be loyal to a job that's not loyal to you. There's only two ways. Well, there's three, actually. That's if you have a rich uncle die and he leaves you the money. But that's not going to help you either, because if you got the mentality that I don't have enough money, I need more money to spend, then you're never going to make it no matter how much money you have. The Bible says, those who love money never have enough money. So yeah, you can go there and make $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in 6 weeks. I know people who live, what they will do is they will work 3 months a year, seasonal jobs, and make about $12,000, $1,000 a week for 12 weeks. And they'll drive down to Arizona and sit in the desert for 9 months. But not during the summer, no. And they have a trailer or a truck and a trailer, and they actually live on $10,000 a year, and they actually save $2,000 a year. I personally know people who do this, but you don't have to know them. It's all over the internet. Just look up on YouTube. People do it all the time. You do excruciatingly hard work for about 12 to 14 weeks, 3 to 3.5 months. And you live on $800 a month for the whole year. About $10,000, and you save $2,000. I mean, you think, well, that doesn't sound possible. Listen, you make $50,000 a year now. You're like, yeah. How hard would it be for you to make $15,000? You say, yeah, but I couldn't live on that. You could live on it if you made 15 and your wife made 15 and you took 6 months off and lived in a trailer, you could do it. 100% debt-free, no expenses. She makes 15, you homeschool your kids, you make 15. I know a young girl, 30 years old. She has 2 young children. Her husband works 40 hours all week, Monday through Friday. He's got a great job. While her children are sleeping, well, actually, her kids are in school. So while her kids are in school, she sleeps. Her husband goes to work, drops the kids off. She goes to sleep. She wakes up, picks up the kids, spends time with her husband. He goes to bed, and she goes and stocks shelves at the local grocery store from 10 a.m. till 6 in the morning and goes back home, wakes her husband up. She does this Monday through Friday, and they both have Saturdays and Sundays off. While he's at work, she sleeps. It works perfect. She's home all alone. She has no kids with her. I think one's in like first grade, one's in second grade. It's a great life. She gets more sleep by being home alone than she would if she was, trying to sleep all night with kids and everything. And they're going to do this until the kids are about 10 or 12 years old. And then she's going to get a day job Monday through Friday in the same store, transferring it. All full benefits, $20 an hour. They don't have any debt. They both drive used cars. They don't believe in getting a car payment. And she's the nicest person. She's very relaxed. She goes to work. She's all by herself. She doesn't work on a team. She's like a merchandiser who works for a different corporation that she stocks for all of them. So she doesn't have any boss there telling her what to do. She is her own boss. And now I'm bringing this up. That's what we used to, I'm 63 years old. So that's what we used to do when I was kids. The husband would get home the first 5 years of child's life. The husband would come home from work, and 3 or 4 nights a week, the wife would go to work at night and make extra money. And it worked out perfect. Because you weren't really living for yourselves, you were living for your children. And you were just living in a small 800-foot house or a 600-square foot apartment. You were paying cheap rent, and you were living for your children to be okay. You weren't really living for your own pleasure. $90,000 truck, $450,000 house, credit cards. When I was young, credit cards never existed, only for the rich. And they weren't even called credit cards back then. They were called bank cards. You had to be rich and prove, you know, I got like $50,000 in a bank, and the bank would issue this rich guy this card because he would travel or fly airplanes, or, you know, imagine flying in the 1950s and 60s airplanes. You think you got problems flying today. These things were like big, huge buckets of metal floating around the air. And when her children get older, they'll probably have $25,000 in the bank, and they'll only be 35 years old. And they can have the rest of their lives to just have normal jobs and be perfectly fine. That truck, he left and passed me. Look, I started the video out with the truck, and he just passed me. Boing. That guy back there was trying to cut me off. You know, I was in the turn lane, but he wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to make a mistake and turn left and try to go straight. He came right up beside me. You know, Mr. Stud Muffin with his wife there. He's going to make sure that nobody's going to get in front of him, even though there's already somebody else still in front of him. It's amazing how you play games with your own mind. Like, if I don't let this person beside me get ahead of me, then I'm better than that person. Even though there's someone beside me on both sides behind me and 5 cars in front of me, I'm still better than the person next to me. Oh man, that lady just about turned right in front of me. She was waving her arms up and telling a story to her friend. Oh my goodness. She didn't even see me there. I was flashing my lights. And she was shocked when she saw me flashing my lights. Even in a town this small, you got to be very careful. Because people aren't paying attention and driving. They're paying attention to their feelings. Their fantasy, the world. They're driving around in a fantasy la-la land. And they all got 17 things that they have to get done today. And if you're listening to this video, this very boring video, then you know it's true. I called this YouTube channel Mustard Seed because of Christianity. I got a lot of Christian studies here, but I came very close to calling this the boring channel. But I know Elon Musk has the boring company, so I didn't want him to sue me or something. I was gonna call this the most boring YouTube channel in the world. Would have been kind of a long name, but I don't get a lot of views on it. People think this channel is boring. That's all right. I got about 25 people who watch this regularly, and that's good enough for me. Got like a little private club where we share, back and forth, information and things and cool things and seeing things and doing things. And that's fine with me. I don't get paid on this channel. I'm not trying to make money on this channel. I'm not trying to influence. I'm not an influencer. If anything, I'm an on-influencer. I'm trying to on-influence you away from the world. Get away from the world. You see all these YouTube creators, it's kind of creepy, actually. They're all dying. By the time they hit 35 years old, they're all dying. Just poof, they're gone. It's kind of like when you see a professional athlete works out 7 days a week. 35 years old, they die in their sleep or something. It's really kind of creepy. Same thing, they call them K-pop over in Japan. The Japanese K-pop kids, they're all, they get paid a lot of money just to like stand there in sexy clothes and twist or make faces, or they get paid a lot of money. About a third of them had died already before age 30. Because it's really two things. It's the stress. All as you see is the 30-second video online. You don't see the 14 hours of work it took to make that 30-second video. And that's what it is. It's the stress and anxiety. You don't really have a life. Mr. Beast, I've never talked about him before, but I've looked at a few things about him. And he is probably, as far as a worldly guy goes, a normal worldly guy, he is just a really super average person. But he has admitted many times if he could start over, he would have never made the channel. When he goes and makes one of his videos, like those challenge videos, or people trying to win money videos, he's literally working 24 hours a day. He's working 24 hours a day until that game thing is over. I mean, you can ask the people that are there with him trying to win the prizes. They will go like 3 weeks in a room together, 24 hours a day. No showers, bad food, sleeping 3 or 4 hours a day. They got corporate people there. They got people that are back in the video. They got all the people sponsoring the video, want certain things. They got to have medical teams there. Everybody's got to sign these big, long releases. And that's just to make one of his really cool videos. And that's why a lot of these young people, you know, I saw Mr. B, I don't know if he got married yet or he was going to get married to this very nice, attractive, normal blonde girl. You know, people, how much you going to spend on your wedding, blah, 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 blah. And he tries to tell people, I'm worth $1 billion on paper, but I don't have very much money in the bank. He probably has a few $1 million in the bank. You know, Elon Musk is always one of the top 3 richest people on earth. But it's all in stocks. He just recently got paid like $500 million, which I'm sure he turned around and put back into stocks. So you say, well, he's the the first or second richest person in the world. Okay, great, fabulous, fantastic. But he doesn't have any money in the bank. You know, I know people, I personally knew people who made $1 million a year, a husband and wife, not in any small business. No, they made $1 million a year. I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I knew them. We weren't real great friends, but I mean, I know them. They know my name. We always talk when we see each other. And they never had $100,000 in the bank, ever. In fact, I think to this day, they still don't. They have a lot of real estate. They have a lot, but they don't sell it. They got a lot of expenses. They got the businesses that they keep opening businesses that they have to keep putting money into. So you take someone like me, you know, me and my wife, we make like $40,000 a year. You know, we used to make an average of $30,000 a year for the first 30 years of our marriage, because we didn't, you know, go out and just try to make a ton of money. So if I had $10,000 in the bank, I had more money in the bank than the people I knew who made $200,000, $300,000, or even $1 million. Now, you know, at the end of their life, and that's what I tell them, so when you're 70 years old, you're going to cash everything out, and you're going to have like $25 million. They say, yeah, it'll be awesome. I say, but today, you couldn't go fly fishing today if your life depended on it. They said, no, we can't go fishing with you, Dave, because we have to be in the office running all of our businesses. You can create a life for yourself that makes you totally, completely miserable. Completely miserable. And it's usually done around money. Everything revolves around money. And then what do you have? You're 60 years old, you start winding down all your businesses. Look at this homeless guy standing here. Well, that guy is totally out of it. As a matter of fact, I think that was a girl. Here's another one. Look, he's totally whacked out on drugs. Well, I pray for them. I mean, I pray for those people. But we live in a society where one person's making $1 million, but they don't have any money in the bank. The richest man on earth, Elon Musk, doesn't have any money on him. He only has stocks. The homeless guy's sitting out there, and the city council is saying it's okay. We want him to sit around, in that condition, mentally, physically, on drugs, methamphetamines, fentanyl. We want to be kind to him and just let him sit there on the street in that condition. And then you got all the middle class people trying to make $80,000 a year per household, but your house payment is $3,000, your credit cards are $600 a month, your 2 car payments are $1,500 a month, and you're broke. And here I'm driving around on Social Security plus my wife's $30,000 a year she brings home. And if I had $10,000 in the bank, I would have more money in the bank than 65% of all Americans. How is that even possible in the richest country in the world?